Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My favourite TV show of all time, Doctor Who, returned with 60th anniversary specials. So in today's video, I'm going to be going through all three of those specials, giving my thoughts on them and ranking them worst to best. I won't be giving any plot descriptions for any of these episodes, I'm just going to get straight into my thoughts. I'll be dividing my thoughts into two sections. I'll do a spoiler-free section at the beginning and a spoiler section at the end. And without further ado, let's begin with this video and let's start talking about the first of the 60th anniversary specials, The Star Beast, which aired on the 25th of November. Also, I would like to mention, I made it quite a bit through making this video, and all of the audio recordings managed to delete themselves for whatever reason. I didn't do anything, they just went, so I'm redoing this entire video now, so yay. Yeah, also you may hear some sounds in the audio, some popping sounds, not stuff that can be solved with a pop filter, but that's an issue. That's a combination of my microphone and the app I use to make videos, so sorry about that. I'll try to find a fix for that in the future. Without further ado, let's begin with talking about the specials. Yeah, a lot of people really liked this episode. I thought it was, for lack of a better word, awful. There were some things in this episode that I couldn't believe actually happened. I couldn't believe some of the things I was seeing. I thought it was a mess of an episode with a story that didn't move like a story. Some pretty awful acting at points. You obviously have the return of David Tennant and Catherine Tate in these specials. I'll talk about them momentarily. But Yasmin Finney is in this episode. I thought she was fine in Heartstopper. For whatever reason, she was just not good in this episode whatsoever, in my opinion. There are big stakes involving the destruction of all of London. None of it's scary or threatening or in any way interesting, really. A lot of people really praised this episode because they thought it made them feel like they were being transported back to 2008 and experiencing the peak of the Russell T Davies era again, which is the exact thing I wanted to feel watching this episode, and unfortunately, I didn't. That was my personal experience with it. David Tennant and Catherine Tate, so great. It's so great to see them back on the screen again. They are so good in this episode, definitely the highlight of the episode for me, and I am so glad they are as good as they were, because it's just so great to see them again, and they are so good in this episode. So now let's talk about some spoiler stuff, because further problems await there. This had the worst conclusion to resolution for the Meta Crisis storyline possible. It was beyond lazy. What was it? They could just let it go because they were women or whatever, something along the lines of that. I was a bit shocked, really. The plot twist with the Meep being the twist villain, very predictable in my opinion. The Meep was a desperate attempt at making something cute so that it's a shock reveal scary villain. I listened to a bit of the Doctor Who podcast for this episode after I watched the episode, and they were saying stuff along the lines of, oh, they did a really good job at making something so cute with the Meep that you think is so cute, and then he ends up being a really scary villain. I will also use this opportunity to talk about some other recurring things throughout, some recurring things throughout the 6th anniversary specials, considering the fact this is the first of them. New intro, looks like it was made using After Effects, pretty dull and uninteresting for the most part in my opinion, not a huge fan of it. The new sonic screwdriver design, pretty poor in my opinion. It looks a bit weird. In this episode as well, they really just made stuff up as they went along with it, what I can create force fields now, they just... they made up whatever was convenient to the plot or whatever. The new TARDIS design, with the new TARDIS design, them making it all white was boring. I quite like what they did with the lights on the wall and everything, and the colours there and all that. I don't know how much of this was intentional, but it does feel like a 60th anniversary TARDIS design in the way that it does feel like it has kind of a mix of some elements of previous TARDIS designs. Obviously, with it being white, it's like a callback to the classic, most of the classic TARDIS designs. The kind of structure of it, if that makes sense, feels kind of reminiscent of the 11th Doctor's first TARDIS and his second one, / Peter Capaldi's one. They both had very similar TARDIS designs, of course. And I really do think it brings back the feel of, the bigger on the inside than on the outside. I really do think it brings back that feel, which I think the 11th Doctor's one was missing quite a bit. I had mixed feelings on it overall, but it was okay. What I will say about the TARDIS is that I really wanted them to just use that design, to use the design just for the 60th anniversary specials, because of the kind of 60th anniversary elements of it that I kind of, those are my thoughts, like I mentioned. It does not look like that will be the case, unfortunately, in my opinion, but you know, hey. I disliked the Star Beast. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10. Now let's move on to the second special, Wild Blue Yonder, which aired on the 2nd of December. Well, it was better than the Star Beast. I have nothing to say about Wild Blue Yonder. It felt like a weaker episode, or even a filler episode from, like, Series 4. Some of it did feel like the first time Doctor Who has gone full weird in quite a while, for obvious reasons, if you've seen the episode. You know, David Tennant, Catherine Tate, still really great, and it's very much just a kind of, for lack of a better word, kind of insignificant episode, if that makes sense. It's just an episode that you can watch, and it doesn't really mean much. Again, it does feel like a bit of a kind of filler episode from the Russell T Davies era. Fairly interesting story in the setting, and there's quite a bit of story stuff I didn't care about, and it's more watchable than the Star Beast, and that's kind of all I have to say about Wild Blue Yonder, to be honest. For spoiler stuff, there isn't really much to say. I thought the race swapping of Isaac Newton and the hint of the Doctor's sexuality were both frustrating and didn't need to be there. I do think some of the kind of political stuff was slightly toned down from the Star Beast. There was quite a bit of it there. But I guess like that was inevitable with such a kind of minimal setting, you know, for the episode. I don't know if that's probably not the right word, but you know what I mean. The monsters for the episode, the Not Things, whatever they're called, fairly interesting. They were quite Doctor Who, and they reminded me of the gangers from the Rebel Flesh Almost People two-parter from Series 6 with the stretching of body parts and everything, although there was some dodgy CGI involving the Not Things. That's kind of all I have to say about Wild Blue Yonder. I'm going to give it a 5.5 out of 10. Now let's move on to the final special, The Giggle, which aired on the 9th of December. Similarly to Wild Blue Yonder, but for different reasons, I don't have that much to say about The Giggle here, and that is largely because many of the episode's major talking points involve spoilers. But what I will say is this: I did enjoy it the most out of any of the 6th anniversary specials. I thought it was the most interesting out of any of the specials. It's got a good cast, great cast already. You got David Tennant and Catherine Tate still being great, and Neil Patrick Harris is good as a toy maker. He is really good. I can't make any comparisons to the old one, the one from the 60s, because, well, I haven't seen it, but he is really good. I think it manages to bring back a bit of the kind of traditional Doctor Who creepiness with the toy maker in certain parts, and I liked it enough. Talking about spoilers, obviously, so this episode has like something that I was wondering if it I was wondering if it would have it like throughout watching the other, like, you know, watching the other specials. I was wondering if it would get to this point. It has something which I will refer to as modern division. I don't think that's a good term for it, but what I mean is that you take something like you have a new entry in a franchise, or like a show like this been going on for a long time, and like a modern entry in it, and it does something that fans might view as a betrayal or just something different to what we know about it, and it divides fans. So for example, the new Star Wars trilogy, the new Halloween trilogy, Game of Thrones Season 8, the final season, and obviously with the ending of Game of Thrones and Terminator Dark Fate. I haven't seen The Rise of Skywalker or the new Halloween trilogy or any of Game of Thrones, so I can comment on those. But they are, at the time of making this video, the latest entries in long-running franchises or shows that did something to divide fans. And this episode has that with By Generation. My quick thoughts on it: it didn't fully work for me. I would have preferred that they just didn't, but for the end of the 6th anniversary specials, for something to explain I don't think they did a great job at it, but it's something to kind of explain David Tennant coming back, why this face came back, the 10th Doctor's face came back for the 14th Doctor, and a way to kind of end it. It was moderately interesting, and so far so good with Ncuti Gatwa. I think he was good in what he was in, and I look forward to seeing more of him. And those are my thoughts on the Doctor Who 6th anniversary Christmas specials, the 6th anniversary specials. Doctor Who is returning Christmas with the Christmas special, The Church on Ruby Road, which I am excited for. I am looking forward to seeing more of Ncuti Gatwa, in his debut episode, his proper debut episode. And again, I look forward to it. So thank you very much for watching this Thank you very much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you want to. And until next time, bye-bye. Also forgot to do a part where I actually rank them. Needless to say, my ranking would go like this. They got better as they went along, in my opinion. Anyway, thanks for watching.